A new vision, two witches, and a scroll walk into a bar. We're going to attempt to make sense of the series finale of WandaVision. This is the after credits scene. We knew coming into this episode there was going to be a lot of ground to cover, but with so much that happened and so many unanswered questions left, it only seems appropriate, given what we've all watched, that we now must go through the stages of grief together. That didn't happen. It's not over. We didn't get any of the things we should have gotten. Maybe there's an explanation, right? The writers and the directors will explain something more, maybe in an interview or maybe a secret episode or something. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. We're fine. Look, there was a lot of talk this past week about the stages of grief in WandaVision. I think all that stuff was right on point. And if this episode or even the entire show got you thinking this way, then the writers did an amazing job of making us all go through some stage of grief with Wanda. Now, we got our big battle with the episode starting off right where episode 8 left us, and it seems that Agatha is indeed the big bad in this show, unless you count the occasional Hayward situation. Now, Agatha's been feeding off of Wanda's energy the entire time. I think we've seen that, and throughout this episode, she really makes it clear that she wants Wanda to use her powers. I still don't think she's 100% evil, because during their interactions in this episode, Agatha continues to explain to Wanda what she is and what her powers can do. The back and forth between these two was a lot more interesting to watch to me than the battle between the two visions, just because of the way that Wanda was feeling out Agatha and Agatha's need to get every ounce of Wanda's power without destroying her first. I thought that back and forth, that balance was really cool. This need for Agatha to prove herself in front of Wanda, to show that she's more powerful and more knowledgeable, even though Wanda does have a lot more power, was really, really cool. This scene right here where Wanda's confronted with White Vision was really cool, and it was made a lot more tense with just that one word.
Is it really you?
Wanda.
This was a really good callback to episode 8, where you saw Vision encountering Wanda for the first time when he's created and having that moment with her. The loving version of this scene that we get to see in episode 8 is really turned on its head when Vision attacks Wanda here. I thought it was a really good move not to have Wanda have to fight Vision, even down to them both accepting what was happening at the end with the Hex closing in on them. To the climactic point of the Vision battle here, I thought the twist where the battle was won not through fighting and magic or anything like that, but with reasoning and logic, was a really cool break from everything else we're seeing in the episode. It also created this really awesome moment where Wanda's Vision could accept his reality and then open up a new reality for White Vision. Now in the comics, this version of Vision does become Wanda's Vision, so there's still some hope there that we'll get to see them reunited in the future. So it didn't really all end badly. There were also a lot of really difficult moments in here with the town people when Agatha exposes what Wanda's done and they kind of come out of it. Another moment here where we're learning, just like Wanda does, the damage that grief can do to others, and not just ourselves. Even at the end, having to face all those people as she walked back through the town was brutal. Even though she fixed everything and attempted to let them escape, I think that needed to happen, and it was kind of glad that we didn't get this tidy, nice, oh, everything's all happy with a bow on it. On top of this, the episode was covered with acceptance references. From Agatha telling Wanda to surrender her magic, to both of the Visions accepting their roles. We had to be thrown into acceptance as well, that the twins weren't going to make it. And I'm really glad they didn't draw out that moment too much, not only because we get a little hopeful moment in a bonus scene, and we'll get to that, but we really needed to take more time for Vision and Wanda to get to talk together. Now, I got a lot of things wrong in my predictions, but there's a video forthcoming on that, but I was really pleased that we got this moment right here.
Yes. But before I go, I feel I must know. What am I?
You, Vision, are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me. You are a body of wires and blood and bone that I created. You are my sadness and my hope. But mostly you're my love.
Of all the times they needed to be on the nose about something, this was great. It was done really well visually. In episode 8, it tracked really well from the beginning to end, and it made a really great moment here with this dialogue and this back and forth as things were kind of closing in. Now, even though there were a lot of things we were expecting in the finale, for the most part, all of our characters really got some closure here. Wu got to save the day. Darcy got to put Hayward in his place. Monica fought off Pietro. Wait, we'll get there. We got a new Vision in the form of this unlocked version. And then some resolution with the Wanda-Agatha battle ended up nicely too. I liked how Wanda was able to turn it back on Agatha by using the information she learned, because we got to see that she didn't play the victim in episode 8. She was actually listening. With Agatha contained, it makes it really easy to bring her back. Not only because the comic storylines say she's a big part of Wanda's life, but Catherine Hahn did an amazing job here. And I really think she earned her spot in the MCU with the fans. Some questions that did get answered. Agatha not only mentions the Darkhold here, but also a quick Doctor Strange reference. So I guess all you need for a TV movie tie-in is a name drop. We found out who Dottie was. We found out who Ralph was. Questions we didn't get answered. Who was in the witness protection program that Wu was looking for? Why does he not seem to care about it at the end? Who was the aerospace engineer? They teased too much about that in the show. Forget outside of the show or our little Twitter fantasies. They teased it too much to pawn that off and never mention it again. That was not cool. Pietro? This is a really nice twist, I guess, but the casting here not only threw Wanda off, but it threw the rest of us off too. And the reveal here at the end left a lot more questions than answers. Why does he look like another character that we know? If Agatha didn't create him, why does he have speed? Why does he have Pietro's memories? Or was that just Agatha pretending for our behalf? I'm hoping of all the questions that the writers and the directors get asked after this episode, that this is the one they answer. It was a cool part of the show, but it threw a lot of the things from the past of the MCU into some really gray areas, and I don't think people are going to be okay with that. Lastly, our bonus scenes. These were good, but not nearly good enough for movie setups or mentioning alongside some of my favorite bonus scenes. I might get around to making a video about my favorite after-credit scenes. I probably should, given the name of our channel here. First, Monica is going to go into space to see Fury. I'm assuming that's who she's talking about, since Fury is in space at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, and because Talos is not in space, he's on Earth posing as Fury. I think Jimmy Woo is going to be a big part, or at least have a part in the MCU moving forward, because I don't think that interaction was an accident. Lastly, we get to see a shot of Wanda isolated, learning her magic. It's a great place for something horrible to happen and for Doctor Strange to have to step in and find her. We see Wanda, I'm assuming, in astral projection form, similar to what we see Doctor Strange in his movie. And we're also treated to Billy and Tommy calling out for Wanda. Now, I know they're crying out for her. I was actually really hopeful and happy to hear their voices because they're gone, but I don't think they're gone forever. As far as predictions go, I got a lot of stuff wrong and maybe a few things right. I'll be posting a video with a breakdown of all my predictions and my scorecard on those things as it relates to WandaVision later. We didn't get the wrap-up we wanted, but maybe we got the one we deserved. Look, we're all learning what Disney and Marvel are willing to put out on TV and what they're going to save for the movies. But we've also all been so starved for content that we want all the answers now, I think. The only thing keeping me sane here at this point is the 6 weeks of Falcon and Winter Soldier that we're going to get pretty soon. We're going to get a ton of story, different story between now and the rest of Wanda's story in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So we're just going to have to be patient and wait. Tell us what you guys think. Share your comments in the section below. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you'll know when we drop some new content. Catch up with us on Instagram and Twitter. Find us on the web for more information and to join the conversation there as well. We'll see you next time.